Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We will explore the third part about the amazing country, New Zealand. As we know, China and New Zealand are located in different hemispheres, thousands of miles away from each other. The people began friendly interactions long ago. The first Chinese immigrants came to New Zealand about a century and a half ago. Pioneers from New Zealand like Rewel'ali forged the bilateral connections between the two nations. Chinese people and New Zealanders have contributed to mutual development through trust and support. First, let's get to know Rewel'ali. One of China's top 10 international friends. In this video, we know the legendary old man, Mr. Rewel'ali, a New Zealand writer, educator, and social reformer. Rewel'ali went to China in 1927 and dedicated his life to China's national independence, writing a brilliant chapter on the friendly exchange between the two peoples. In this photo, he smiles like a father, just like any common old man in China. Do you know that he had stayed in China for 16 years? Becoming one of China's best-known and best-loved foreigners. There is an old saying in Chinese: a friend in need is a friend indeed. Due to his dedication to the cause of China's national independence and nation building, Rewel'ali won the title of China's top 10 international friends, along with the famous Norman Bethune and Edgar Snow. Some of the achievements include fighting to give child works in Shanghai factories, safer conditions, and better treatment, helping set up the hugely influential Gonghe cooperative movement to support Chinese industry under Japanese occupation, setting up and running schools for disadvantaged youth, fighting for world peace on behalf of China on the international stage, and fostering relationships and understanding between China and the rest of the world. From the table, you can find some key moments in Ali's 6 decades in China. The leaders in China gave him high praise and evaluation. A great internationalist fighter and an old friend of the Chinese people. Ali never married, yet he adopted many children of poor families and revolutionists, brought them up and cultivated them to be useful members of society. Ali called the children creatures of the dawn and encouraged them to work hard for new China. For the students of Bainie School, as they recalled, Ali was more of a father than just a great teacher. Till now, the people of Shandan cannot forget his contribution.
Some of Rewi's ashes are kept here so that the people of Shandan have somewhere to come and see him.
Well, following the footsteps in China, we can find out Rewel'ali shared wear and war with Chinese people for 60 years and helped build a bridge of friendship between the peoples of China and New Zealand. We will talk about New Zealand and the Belt and Road Initiative. The Belt and Road Initiative, which comprises the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road, was proposed by China in 2013. New Zealand signed the Belt and Road Cooperation Deal with China first among Western developed countries in 2017 during Prime Minister Li Keqiang's visit in New Zealand. Along with New Zealand-China Free Trade Agreement entered into force on 1st October 2008, China and New Zealand have made greater efforts to explore the possibilities of bilateral cooperation in various fields in the two countries. By now, China has become New Zealand's largest trading partner. Bilateral trade between China and New Zealand increased from $4.4 billion in 2008 to $18.1 billion in 2020, with an average annual growth rate of 40%. Third, China-New Zealand cultural exchange. Cultural exchanges have played an important role in China-New Zealand bilateral ties in recent years. In New Zealand, series of events, including Chinese Film Week and the Chinese Language Week, are held. More kids are learning Chinese language. Meanwhile, China has been New Zealand's largest source of overseas students for more than a decade. And more Chinese people are traveling to New Zealand to enjoy its landscape and culture. Prior to COVID-19, China was New Zealand's second largest international visitor market and one of the most valuable in terms of holiday visitor spending. Many tourists from China say they have traveled to the places in New Zealand seen in blockbuster film and that their trips are unforgettable. The Hobbiton film city tour has become very popular with Chinese travelers. In recent years, the travel patterns of Chinese visitors have changed remarkably. They are visiting more regions in New Zealand and taking on a wider range of activities. The independent traveler touring New Zealand in camper van and the night they have increased sharply in recent decades. The teaching of Chinese in New Zealand schools is relatively recent, but the numbers of students learning Chinese increased quite significantly in recent years. Chinese have become the primary foreign language of choice for primary school students in New Zealand. According to statistics from the New Zealand Ministry of Education, the number of primary and secondary school students in New Zealand learning Chinese was nearly 70,000 before the epidemic, with more than 400 primary and secondary schools offering Chinese courses. As the New Zealand-China Council has pointed out, the proportion of students learning Chinese shows the importance of China as a global power and trade and economic partner of New Zealand. Since 2014, the Chinese Language Week has held each year. It is another language week here in New Zealand after Maori Language Week and the Pacific Island Language Week, and the first National Chinese Language Week, initiated and established by the people of Western countries. During the Chinese Language Week 2021, New Zealand hosted a variety of colorful activities such as learning Chinese language and Chinese Kung Fu, enjoying Chinese folk music, expressing Chinese cuisine, Chinese calligraph workshops, and Chinese line dance performances. That's all for New Zealand. Hope you have enjoyed the journey with me. See you next time.